Hey everybody, Len the Pixel Pusher here. I'm going to just show you how I make weird objects that you can get from flat images. So you'll see here that I have my suit of cards here. I put on my casino. Before we start, I do want to show you um, something simple. And it might not mean anything to you watching this video. And it might, because I know with me personally, I have I'm actually legally blind, so um, dark contrasts are really good for me to work on my projects. But sometimes if I'm working on something dark and it's on a dark background, like you see here, it's not the best. So what I do is I take my background layer here. Let me get rid of this. I take my background layer and I changed the color overlay of the layer to be something kind of muted and somewhere in between, like light and dark. And it would help if it was visible. There you go. So that's usually what I do for certain backgrounds, or if I'm working on something dark. Something dark. For now, I'll just leave it on, and I'll show you how to make these isometric objects from a flat image. So I'll go to I'll go and check out Google here, and I'll copy this image, and I'll paste it right in, right? Of course, this is going to be too big, so scale it down a little. Oops. And also, while you're scaling this down, you do want to keep um, in the top here. You want to make sure you're nearest neighbor, so you get that pixely look as you scale down. All right. For the sake of demonstration, I'm just gonna do one of these for right now. So let's apply this, and I'm gonna take out the background. And of course, you get little snowies around everything, but that's okay. We can clear that up real quick. Like I said, I'm just gonna do one of these. I'm not gonna go balls to the wall like I did with before here. So um, let's do the club. All right. Now, we can also, I'm just going to do this to be simple here. But usually what you can do is you can black it out like that, like I do. Or what you could do is if you wanted it like another color, you could black it out and then make it red or whatever, right? Okay. I'm going to tone this a little down, I think. Overlay. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to take this and skew it. And it's aligned to my grid. Well, I mean, it's you know, it's parallel to my grid here. That's pretty good, pretty right on. Got two of them. All right. For a palette, you'll notice that I use these right here for the most part. When I do my initial designs, I like to have 6 colors at my disposal. Um, I don't usually use all 6. I might use like 4 or 5. Usually like the first 4 or the first 5. I really rarely ever use the darker color because when you go to color correct to make them the colors that you want, you may end up with a darker color that you don't want in here. For example, like I did this first one, right? And you'll see that I have like dark colors around here. And it may be a look that you're going for, it may not, but you'll also see in the club that I did here that it's, you know, it's barely seen here. I only did it in certain spots. So you may want to spot correct that when you get to this point. All right, so let's continue on here. I'm gonna paint this just somewhere in the middle of the line color here. And we can also make this black again. Move this over here. All right. Now, before you get to doing this, you may want to clean it up a bit. So you get like it's like weird pixels that are just we don't need around it. Right. You may want to add some too. Okay. A little bit cleaned up here. All right. All right, so next, what I want to do is I want to take this and I want to copy it. Duplicate the layer. And depending on how thick you want it, like these, you'll see that I did pretty much half a block. So you'll see it in here. I didn't do a full block. I could do a full block for you. Let's do that just to make it simple. So I duplicated the layer. I'm going to move it out. And I also have other tutorials where I will show you how I make the grid. So please check out my channel for that. See, I didn't really do a good job because you see that little black pixel, but that's okay. So what we're going to do for this one that's sitting behind it now, we're going to paint it another color. I'm going to just do a darker color. There you go. So now you can start to see where it starts to get a little 3D looking. Okay. And you're going to want to connect the front and the back. I used a darker color here, so I'm going to use it somewhat an in-between color. Well, that isn't all that in between, so let's make the top layer a little brighter. There you go. All right. Now we can combine these two layers, the front and the back now, since we're going to be connecting them anyway. So let's merge the layers. And what's next is that I'll just, fill in the blanks here. Let's do it the professional way. All right. I gotta do the top. All right. Now that it's semi-connected, you're just gonna really kind of go about shading it now. You'll see in this that I added like grooves. You don't really have to do that. And as I go, I may do it, but for now, I'm just going to show you how I just make this object. All right, so you can also do this too. I really like doing this. People will say using dirty tools isn't something that you want to do. But I'm going to do it because fuck those naysayers, you know. All right, there you go. There you go. And you get something like that. Now that isn't like the best, but what we can do is select all of that and go from there. Notice when I selected that, it selected all the color that is of that one. And it was also because I have the contagious marked off. If it's marked on and I go and do that, it just selects the one part that's all connected. So of course I'm going to turn it off because I can select them all. Shade that to my liking. And of course I didn't connect this last part down here, so I need to do that. I gotta go back to my pencil. It didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Let's do this. Okay. Just going to fill this in, recolor it in a bit. Now to get a shine like I want, I'm just going to start in an arbitrary spot that I believe that look real well. Again, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this. And I'm also going to use the dirty tool, the forbidden dirty tool here. And I'm going to shrink it down because it's going to be too big of a shine on that branch of this thing here. There you go. Now I can also make it like a lot lighter. I can borrow this. And I'm going to make it a little smaller. I'm at 29 now. Let's go to 23 and do that. And I'm going to do an even lighter one, an even smaller. Let's go to 14 is good. Oh, that's a little bright, isn't it? Let's go back. See what this looks like. No, that's the same. Okay. And this one. Here we go. There's your shine. Now that we're at the top of this thing, I'm going to want to pencil this in a bit better. So let's select this color and use the dirty tool again. There you go. Okay. Yeah, and now what I could do too is I can make the shine bigger on this one side. There you go. Looking better now, isn't it? All right. I'm going to do the same thing for this top part. Now remember, I did start at 29, but I think I'm going to do it a little bigger than 29 because we're on the top, so maybe the top should be brighter. Do 35. See what happens. Okay. I'm going to also do this end too a little bit. There you go. And let's go for the lighter one. All right. Oh, I didn't want to deselect it because then I can't. Then it's going to blend into that, so I don't want to do that when I select it again. So we're going to do this. Pick a smaller brush. There you go. You have your 3D club here, or isometric club. Now this is, of course, this was a rush job. Like with these, I actually like hand put in these, and I just copied the part, and did it again. Like you can actually copy it like this, and then go, and do your ridges that way. If you just want to make a couple ridges, and have them all look the same. I kind of did that over here for the little top shine. With coloring, now that you've kind of used like a 4 or 5 color palette, I think I used 1, 2, 3, 5. So you did use 5 here. You can change the color to anything you want. Like, I'll try to mimic that black, or I'll make my own black out of it. There you go. Now you got a pretty dope looking club. And this can really be made, you can make 3D objects with anything flat like this. Like I just did suits because they're probably the easiest example that I could give you. Anything with like more detail than just a flat image, it takes a little bit of spontaneity probably. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe. I just got over 100 subscribers, which I wasn't really expecting when I checked out YouTube today. I haven't been on in a while. I'm working on my project, Pixel Noir. It's a RPG video game that I'm building right now. That's where this idea for this uh, casino came from, and doing this tutorial for you guys. Anyway, take care and talk to you next time.